Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to go through my picks for each Premier League team's most underrated player this season. This can be for any reason at all. I'm just going to pick who I think personally has flown under the radar this season. Feel free to put your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to comment who you think who you would put in. And without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with Arsenal, I've gone with Leandro Trossard. I feel like he's been underrated his whole career, really. Good dribbler, quality finisher, can play anywhere across the front line, and I personally think this is a bold shout. I'm going to probably get some abuse for this. I would start him over Jesus. I think he's more clinical. Like I say, he's a good dribbler. He's great off the bench. I think he doesn't deserve to be on the bench. He's very underrated. So for Arsenal, Leandro Trossard. For Aston Villa, I've put down Ollie Watkins. Now, I'll probably get a lot of shouts in the comments for other Villa players in this list. He's got 10 assists, which is the most in the Prem, and 11 goals. And, you know, he runs the channels well. He always gets in behind well. No one talks about how quality he actually is for Villa. I don't feel like he gets the praise enough, because obviously you've got strikers like Haaland. Obviously, he's not a striker, but you've got players like Salah. I just don't think Ollie Watkins gets the plaudits for his all-round play. I mean, another example, you've got Ivan Toney. He gets all the shouts and plaudits. I don't think Ollie Watkins gets enough. You know, he's crucial to that Villa side as well. He battles for every ball. It's hard to find a striker like that now. And I do think Ollie Watkins should be going on the plane to the Euros. So for Aston Villa, I've gone with Ollie Watkins. Let me know who you would have put for Villa down in the comments below. Right, on to Bournemouth. Arguably one of the most underrated teams. Put Dominic Solanke. People say, oh, there's so many more players, but from what he used to be, he was like maybe a 2, 3, 4 goal a season striker. He is now third in the goal scoring charts in the Premier League. The only two players above him are Salah and Haaland. So, you know, he's keeping elite company. He's not an elite forward just yet, but he's been superb for Bournemouth this season. And again, I think he's in with an outside shout of going to the Euros, personally. He's like Watkins. He's big, strong. He's an aerial threat, he's clinical, and it is fun to watch Bournemouth play this season under Iriola. I don't know what he's done to them, but they are really fun to watch. And Solanke, I'm so glad he's showing how good he is, because if you knew any of him when he was younger, he was quality. So I'm now glad he's showing close to his full potential. And again, I think he's another player who will get a move in the summer. But yeah, that's my shout for Bournemouth. I don't know if there was any other players I could have included, like I've said in these other ones. Don't forget to put it down in the comments below who you think. Right, next up is Brentford. I've put Johan Vissler down. Now, I don't know if this will be outrageous, controversial. I just think he filled the hole well while Toney was gone, to be fair. He's a good dribbler, he's very fast on the counter, he's a good finisher as well. He's a bit of an unknown quantity and people don't really know how to deal with him. I don't know what game it was where he terrorised Liverpool, I think it was last season. But yeah, I just think he's very underrated as a player. I think he could get a move as well, personally, if Brentford sell in the summer. But will they need the depth for Toney? Because we've seen how Vissler and Mbeumo fill the gap while Toney's gone, so perhaps he'll just stay there for a while. Put down in the comments below who you'd think Brentford's most underrated player is, but for me it's got to be Johan Vissler. Right, onto the Seagulls, Brighton. It's Tariq Lamptey. Rapid down the wing, he looks so fast, so explosive, can contribute to the attack as well. Obviously he had a massive injury setback last year. He's come back from it and he looks better than ever, to be honest. It's just when I watch him though, so perhaps I'm not, obviously I don't watch every Brighton game, but when I've watched him, he's just quality. And it's a shame he had to switch nationality to Ghana, because he'd be really good in this England team. But with the right backs we have, it'd be hard for him to get in. But like I said, very fast, very explosive. I think he'll be another one to get a move as well, because we know what Brighton are like for selling their stars, and I reckon they'd get good money for him. You know, he's got everything that you need. He can put a cross in. He's got good work rates in both thirds of the pitch. He's just a good all-round right back. So Brighton fans, let me know if you agree with that, and let's move on to the next team. Right, on to Burnley now. Go Koleosho. Probably one of Burnley's biggest players this season, but the reason I've put him as underrated is because he's just so direct and he's so quick, he's so good on the ball. I remember when we played Burnley, we managed to get the win, but he was causing us all sorts of problems. I think we gave away a penalty as well because he was just absolutely toying with our defenders. It was awful to watch, but as a football fan you like to watch it because he's just so good. And I do think, again, he'll be one on the move in the summer. So for me, Burnley, Koleosho. Right, on to Chelsea now, and I'm not going to lie, this was another hard choice because they have been utterly shambolic this season, but I've gone with their goalkeeper Petrovic. Don't know what's happened with Robert Sanchez, if he got injured or he fell out with Pochettino. Chelsea fans, let me know down in the comments. but he just looks so much better than Sanchez. He looks like an upgrade. He's actually such a good goalkeeper. He doesn't flap like Sanchez. His distribution could use a little bit of work, but he's taken the gloves off Sanchez and he's just asserted it with dominance. And the way Chelsea are at the minute, he'll probably get replaced by a £50 million goalkeeper on a 9-year contract, but I think they'd be stupid to get rid of him. I think he's been really good. And I know Chelsea have been a shambles, but he's kind of saved them from embarrassments in some games. Obviously, with the way they're playing, sometimes it can't be helped. But he just looks like a quality, stable Premier League goalkeeper. And that's what Chelsea need at the minute. They need stability. Good shot stopper, just needs to work on his distribution. Just nice and stable. Right, on to the next club. Crystal Palace now. And I've got two players. They're probably the most underrated duo in the Premier League at the moment. It's Michael Olise and Eberici Eze. It's obvious the amount of quality these two players have. You can tell the difference when they're not in the Palace side. They struggle. They're so flat. But with them two, they have creative players. Got players who can finish. Palace are known for bringing through young, good players. You know, Zaha, they had in their books for years, who carried them through and is now left, unfortunately, obviously. I think these two are the next big, you know, young stars out of Crystal Palace. Eze's getting in the England team. There's talks of Olise going into the France team, which says a lot about his quality. But yeah, I just think as a duo, they're just so underrated. That's why I've grouped them in together. I think these two don't get the credit. They're both young as well, and I think they have so much promise. And I think, personally, they should get out of Palace to fulfil that promise. I think it's the best thing for them. I think they should both leave in the summer. We'll have to wait and see. Right, on to the next club. On to the Toffees now, Everton. For me, I've gone with Jarrad Branthwaite. I think he's 21 or 22, which is crazy when you think about it. He's my age. He's a left-footed centre-back, so confident on the ball. He's so strong, so physical, so tall. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4". So it was a good pick-up from Everton. And I don't think he gets highlighted enough as a decent centre-back, because obviously it's Everton, they're going through a lot of stuff at the minute. There's more focus on other parts of the club. But to be fair, whenever I watch Everton, he's always winning aerial duels, intercepting the ball well. He's just a solid all-round centre-back. Another player that could be on the move in the summer, you know. English, left-footed centre-back, can play out from the back, physical. He just ticks all the boxes for an elite team who need a centre-back. Maybe he's a bit too young at the moment, perhaps another season or two with Everton. But yeah, my pick for Everton's underrated player is Jarrad Branthwaite. Right, on to Fulham now. Tough one, I'm going to go with Anthony Robinson. You know, when the talks of Premier League left-backs this season come up, he's not really mentioned. And I just think he's a great all-round fullback, really. He's quick, strong, can put in a good ball. Like, he just doesn't get talked about enough. You know, he's rapid, he's good on the counter. I just think he's a solid all-round player, to be fair. Yeah, it was really difficult for Fulham, I'm not going to lie, just because they have just settled players, like they do their jobs, and they're a stable team in the Prem. Hope everyone can agree with that. For Fulham, Anthony Robinson. For Liverpool, I've put Diogo Jota. I do think he's very underrated. He has been underrated for ages. You know, he's very quick, he's a good dribbler, can go through about 5 or 6 players. He's a quality finisher as well. He's quite versatile. It's a bit like Trossard, he's been underrated his whole career. The way people talk about him as if he's just not a Liverpool quality player, he is. I think he deserves to start in that attacking lineup. I do think he deserves to start. Because he gets benched a lot, and I don't think he's that bad. I think he should be starting. He's more clinical than Nunes. I know I chose Nunes over Jesus in my Liverpool and Arsenal combined 11. If you haven't watched that, by the way, go and watch it, it's a good video. I think Jota should get talked about more as a quality player. Liverpool fans, let me know what you think about that statement. Do you think he deserves to be in a starting lineup? I think he does. Let me know in the comments below. For Luton, I haven't got a player. I'm not going to lie, I've put the whole team. I just think the way they're playing this season, they're not playing afraid of the big boys. They're going out and they're fighting for every point. And it's great to watch. The form they've been in recently, I don't know what they've done at Luton. I don't know what Rob Edwards is doing. But they scored 4 in back-to-back Prem games, including 4 against Newcastle. And it could have been 5-4 as well. That was a brilliant game to watch. When you talk about peak Premier League, I'd say that was up there for one of the good games for it. You know what? I think they'll beat the drop. I think they'll survive. Even if they don't, it'll be a sad day when they go down. Because normally when teams go down, you don't want them to come back. Like Sheffield, like Burnley. But I'd love to see Luton back in the Prem in another season. I just think the way they're playing, the way they've got a tune back out of Ross Barkley. He's playing like he did when he was at Everton. There's been shouts of him getting in the England team. So for me, Luton, the whole team, you're all underrated. Hopefully you survive, boys. Right, on to the next club. Right, on to the first of the Manchester clubs, Manchester City. I've put Oscar Bob as the underrated. You know, with Oscar Bob, come through the academy, been given his chance and he has taken it. You know, he's done really well when he's played. He's even earned a starting place. He looks impressive. He looks like an impressive young talent adding to the Norwegian talent pool along with Odegaard and Haaland. He's obviously not at that level yet, but he just looks quality when he's played. Scored the winner against Newcastle as well and they won 3-2. Yeah, Oscar Bob, he just seems to be settling in well at City. And I know Pep gets a lot of stick for not, going with the academy, but he is. He brought through Foden, he's now bringing through Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis was also in with a shout, but he hasn't been playing a lot recently, whereas Oscar Bob has. So therefore, I've put Oscar Bob for most underrated for City. Right, Manchester United. For me, it's Kobbie Mainoo. Quite an easy choice, really. Last season probably would have been Garnacho, but we know Garnacho has moments of quality now, so he can't really be classed underrated. But he's getting talks of being picked for England for the Euros. I personally wouldn't yet. I'd give him another season or two. But he is showing a lot of promise. He looks so composed. He knows what he's doing. He knows his role. But yeah, England and Ghana fighting for his signature on the international stage. It's up to him who he picks. He'd probably get more game time with Ghana, but will he want to play in bigger competitions with England, really? Let's have it how it is. The buzz around this young player now is just unreal. But obviously, when he started, we didn't know who he was. So therefore, that's why I picked him as underrated. But yeah, Kobbie Mainoo, I don't think that's controversial. Man United fans, I think you'll agree with me. But yeah, Kobbie Mainoo for Man United. On to Newcastle. Pick for most underrated player is Fabian Schär. He's been a solid defender for Newcastle. He's been there since 2018. So what's that? 6 years now. Survived the new takeover with the Saudi owners. Yeah, I think he's just been solid for him. He's good ball playing centre back. He's strong, tall, physical. Can even score a banger or two. I mean, it does help when, if you can't attack, you just let your centre-back just rifle one from 30 yards. That's a good thing to have in your team. So, yeah, for that, Fabian Schär is my most underrated Newcastle player. On to the next club. On to Nottingham Forest now. I'm going to go Awoniyi just because he's still a decent finisher. Like I said, he's big, strong, tall, fast. Just what you want in a Premier League forward, really. And I think maybe under better management, under a better team, he could do bits in the Prem. But who knows, if he moves in the summer, we'll find out. But yeah, it was a tough choice, but for me, it's Awoniyi for Forest. On to the next club. Right, Sheffield United. Who can I pick, really? I was talking to Callum about this, so any abuse for this pick, please direct it at Callum, because I didn't choose this. He gave me the idea, and I'll go with it, because I didn't really know who else to pick. It's Gustavo Hamer. Mainly for when I watched Sheffield United, he was the one pretty much doing anything. I know obviously they've had more scorers, but whenever there was goals scored, he was in it. If there was good play, he was involved in it. He just seems to be the hub for Sheffield United in games that I've watched. I don't watch a lot of Sheffield United, but yeah, Gustavo Hamer for Sheffield United. Right, on to Tottenham Hotspur. I'll put Richarlison. I will get some flack for that, but the recent form he's showed, 8 goals in his last 8 games. He seems to have got some fire back in him. And I know ages ago I put him in the most overrated team, if you remember that video. But now he's showing his talent. And the only reason I'm saying he's underrated is because people have hated him for so long. He's back to his best. He is a good player. He wants to win the ball. He wants to play football. He wants to win games. And that's what this Tottenham team's about. They've got players who want to play. There's no bad toxicity at the club. Richarlison seems reformed under Postecoglou. Maybe that's down to Postecoglou. It is down to Postecoglou. Let's have it here. But I just think the form he showed recently, it's hard to argue with Richarlison being underrated. Yeah, I'm happy with my choice of Richarlison. Let's go on to the next club. For us, I've gone with Emerson. Just because when I've watched us play, he seems to have improved a lot defensively. Because when we bought him, we was concerned about, not management, but a lot of fans were criticising his defending. But he's just seemed to have improved on that. It's not the best, obviously. It's not Maldini-esque. It's not going to be. But he has improved very well on defending. He's our starting left-back now. Can also put in a good ball when needed as well. And he's just a hard worker. You can't really not rate it. He's just works hard for the club. He just does the job now. He's just a solid left-back, to be fair. So, yeah, Emerson. Right, last but not least, we have Wolves. And for Wolves, gone Matheus Cunha. It's bought from Atletico, I forgot the fee. But people immediately were like, he's not good enough for the Prem. But I don't know what Gary O'Neill's done with him, but he's turned him into an actually decent finisher. Got a hat-trick against Chelsea. I know Chelsea are a shambles and easy to score against, but a A hat-trick in the Prem's no mean feat. It's nothing to be sniffed at. So yeah, he's just an all-round threat for Wolves, and I think Wolves are just another underrated team in general, apart from maybe Pedro Neto. But I just like watching him play. I did have some criticisms for him start of the season, but he's changed my mind. I know it's just one game, probably a fluke game where he got a hat-trick. Can't really go wrong, and a versatile player. It's just what you need in the modern day in the Prem. So yeah, for me it's Matheus Cunha. Let me know down in the comments below who you thought for Wolves. Yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We'll catch you next one, guys. See you later.